My name is Paul Wolver. The name of my company is Pinellas Power Products. I've got two accessory products for the Honda EU3000iS generator. The first one is an extended runtime remote fuel tank kit to allow the generator to run for long periods of time without having to stop and refill. The second one is a completely new version of my wireless remote control. Start off with the fuel kit. If you already own one of these generators, you know that the stock fuel tank is 3.5 gallons, which is not quite large enough to run all night under a load without having to refill. The kit that I have comes with everything you'll need except for a fuel tank. My favorite size fuel tank would be the 6-gallon. The main reason for that is I just had back surgery, and the 6-gallon fuel tank full of fuel is under 50 pounds. You can get marine style fuel tanks all the way up to 40 or 50 gallons. I don't recommend that. If I were you, I would stick with a 6 to 12 gallon size, which I have both of listed on my website. At any rate, the kit comes with absolutely everything except for the fuel tank, which I do sell separately, and you choose the size of the tank depending upon your needs. Operation of the kit is straightforward and simple. Take the fuel hose that's included in the kit and look for the arrow on the prime bulb and make sure that fuel flow is in the direction of the arrow. The fuel flow would be from the tank to the generator. Connect one quick disconnect fitting to the fuel tank. Make sure that the fuel vent is in the open position. Connect the other quick disconnect to the generator. If this is the first time that you're using the generator, or the first time that you're using it after it's been dormant for a while, there's going to be air in this hose. So in order to purge the air from the hose, you move the fuel selector valve to the on position and then simply pump the prime bulb. Continue to pump the prime bulb with the fuel selector valve in the on position until the fuel prime bulb becomes firm. What it's doing is it's pulling fuel out of the remote tank, through the fuel line, through the inlet fitting, through the internal fuel filter that I put in the generator, through the fuel pump that's also included in the kit, and then running into the stock tank where the air is vented out through the stock fuel tank vent. Once the prime bulb becomes firm, move the fuel selector valve to the off position. On this generator, with my remote fuel kit installed, the on position would be used to run off the stock tank, and the off position draws from the remote tank. Once you've got the fuel primed, starting on this generator, because we also have my wireless remote kit on it, the choke is electronic now, so you no longer have to use the manual choke. If you want to use the manual choke, go ahead and use it, but you're no longer required. Turn the key to the on position, and then go ahead and start it according to the owner's manual. Make sure that the economy mode setting is in the standard position, and go ahead and turn the key. I'm going to shut it off because we're in an enclosed area. I don't want to let it run any longer than I need to. Incidentally, if you're going to be running it for a prolonged period of time, like several days, from a storm or something like that, you can have multiple fuel tanks, and when one fuel tank starts to feel like it's low, you can switch the quick disconnect fitting from one tank to another and so on down the line without shutting the generator off. And incidentally, if you switch it from one tank to the next within a couple of seconds, you won't even need to pop prime the air bubble out of it, because that's the natural inclination of a float bowl in a carburetor, is to allow it to purge air bubbles from the system. And that should just about cover the remote fuel tank system. As far as the wireless remote control, my wireless remote control is the most advanced, most feature-packed version that I have seen yet. My newest one has also extended the range. If you've looked around, you notice that the rest of the kits on the market advertise between 50 and 100 feet. My wireless remote will start the generator, stop the generator, toggle in and out of economy mode, and turn the outlet on and off, the bottom 20 amp outlet off and on again, all by wireless remote control. The outlet function is in case you have a specific device that you wish had its own wireless remote control but it doesn't. Plug it into the bottom outlet, and now button number 4 on my wireless remote control will turn it off and on. The default position for the bottom outlet is in the on position. So when you normally start the generator up, this outlet is turned on, you have to shut it off. The reason I did it that way is because if you lose the wireless remote control, or if the battery dies, or you get it run over or whatever, the generator runs like it was stock. The outlet is in the on position. The next thing is the economy mode. Honda's owner's manual explains that the procedure is to start the generator in standard run mode, and then when it is warmed up, switch it into economy mode. So if your wireless remote control does not control the economy mode, you would either have to start it in standard mode and leave it there, or you'd start it in standard mode and then walk over to the generator and flip it into economy mode. What's the point? If you're going to buy a wireless remote, you might as well buy a wireless remote that actually does what you need it to do. The next item is my new wireless remotes have an extendable antenna in them. With this antenna extended, we've tested it and we're getting between 400 and 500 feet. Operating the generator with the wireless remote is pretty straightforward and simple. Turn the key to the on position. Button number 1 would start the generator. Button number 2 would shut the generator off. Button number 3 would toggle into economy mode and then back to standard mode. Button number 4 would toggle the outlet off and then back on again. So I'll go ahead and demonstrate that. And I'm not going to leave it running for a real long period of time because, again, we are in an enclosed room. Incidentally, you can use the wireless remote with the antenna down. With the antenna down like this, it has about the same range as everybody else's. If you want the 400 to 500 feet, just extend the antenna up. Since I'm standing right next to it, we don't have a problem with that. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and start the generator. It is now in the standard run mode. So to put it in economy mode, I would press button number 3. And that's economy mode. Then to turn the outlet off, I would push button number 4. If I wanted to turn the outlet back on again, I'd push button number 4 again. And then if I wanted to put it into standard run mode, I'd push button number 3. Then to shut the generator off, I would push button number 2. Like I said earlier, if you wanted to run it at a longer distance, you extend the antenna up, and we have tested it about 400 to 500 feet. Now I also have this wireless remote control. In the unlikely event that you have a situation where 400 to 500 feet range is not good enough for you, this 400 to 500 feet range is unobstructed. And obstructions would be buildings, trees, cars, things like that. Obviously, the more obstructions, the less the range. This remote control, which is available separate, it is not included with the kit. We have tested this one now, and we are reliably getting 2,000 feet unobstructed. And the functions on this one are the same as the functions on these. Button A or 1 would be to start the generator. B or 2 would be to shut the generator off. C or 3 would be to toggle in and out of economy mode. And button D or 4 would be to turn the outlet off and on. Incidentally, there is a power switch on this remote. So you'd put the power switch in the on position, and if you wanted to start the generator, go ahead and start it. Shut the generator off, you'd hit button number 2. I'm not going to leave it running for a prolonged period of time again, because like I say, we are in an enclosed room. Okay, the next section of this video is going to be to demonstrate the range, and we'll move outside to do that. The video is going to be on a different model of generator, but the wireless remote controllers are going to be the same, and it'll allow me to demonstrate the effective range of this kit. That should just about do it. Okay, as I had stated when we were inside, we're going to resume the video now outside to give you a demonstration of the range. One thing that I forgot to cover when we were inside is that this radio kit has an external antenna with a magnetic base, just like the CBs that were so popular in the 70s. This wire is a shielded cable. Do not cut this wire under any circumstance. It'll destroy the SWR, so your antenna will give you less range if you try to cut this and then resolder it back together. The way I've got it routed is coming out through the little hatchway that Honda puts on the battery cover for the stock, or excuse me, for Honda's wired remote control to plug into. I'm just running the antenna wire out through that, sticking it to the top of the fuel tank. I'll cover that in a lot greater detail in the installation instructions and show you the different options, the way that you can route them. But just make certain that you, under no circumstances, do you cut this wire and try to resolder it together. And of course, put the antenna on something magnetic on the outside. I'll go ahead and start it up. Shut it off. I'm going to have my son head down the street, and we'll show you the range of this beast. Okay, he's at the 200-foot mark right now. Go ahead and start the generator. Put the generator in economy mode. Go ahead and shut the outlet off. Turn the outlet back on. Put it back into standard mode. Now shut the generator off. Okay, go ahead and get back in your car and head to the 400-foot mark. Okay, this is the 400-foot mark. Still using the small key fob size remote control. Go ahead and start the generator. Go ahead and put the generator in economy mode. Go ahead and shut the light off. Turn the light back on. Put it back in standard run mode. Now shut the generator off. That is at 400 feet. Go ahead and get the long range remote and head to the 1,000-foot mark. Okay, go ahead and turn the long range remote on. Start the generator. Go ahead and put it into economy mode. Shut the outlet off. Turn the outlet back on. Put the generator back in standard run mode. And now go ahead and shut the generator off. Okay, go ahead and get back in your car and go to the 2,000-foot mark. Hang on a minute. Okay. Go ahead and start the generator. Put the generator in economy mode. Shut the outlet off. Turn the outlet back on. Put it back in standard run mode. Go ahead and shut the generator back off again. And now head back this way. Okay, here he comes now. You should be able to see him. You can park right there. And that should just about conclude the demonstration of the range. Like I said, this little remote control we have tested and gotten good reception. up to about 4, sometimes 500 feet. This remote control, which is sold as an accessory, it's not included in the kit, but you can purchase this separately from me. And this one we have tested up to about 2,000 feet now and gotten good work out of it. That should just about do it.